whatever you say from now on, try and avoid using swear words because we're being recorded. My name is Frank Meerbach, as Andrew Fifield and Anthony Hayne already know. So if you can hear me, Aidan Khalil, we're going to do a session tonight on chess tactics. And we've already solved the first puzzle, the puzzle that's up on the screen at the moment, which comes from a real game. It comes from a game that was played between people named Radel and Schladik, a real European name, so excuse me if I don't pronounce them correctly. And the key move here was knight to e5, exploiting in effect two different pins. It's a fork. The knight attacks the queen and the bishop, and the pins that are being exploited are the pawn on d4 is being exploited, because if the pawn takes the knight, then the rook will then defend the queen's attack on e2. And the second pin that's being exploited is this knight on e2 is not really defending the bishop. So if the queen runs away, the knight will just take the bishop. And this is the whole point of this particular little puzzle. And the reason why I'm putting emphasis on this is that people ask me often, you know, how do you develop a sense of tactics? And the short answer to that is practice, practice, practice. The long answer is look for weaknesses. You look for weaknesses.
And the other answer is to examine all checks and captures.
All checks and captures is a pretty good rule of thumb. This is neither a check nor a capture, but it is a move which attacks a heavy piece, the queen. So it's definitely a candidate move. You need to calculate, of course, what happens if rook takes rook or if queen takes rook or, you know, several other possibilities.
Well, think about it. It's check and captures +1.
Yep. So in this position, it turns out that knight to here is a winning move, but he has to find one more strong move before the position is totally won. After the queen comes back to defend the bishop.
Did White resign after knight e5?
No, White resigned after the next move. After White's queen move, White resigns after Black's next move. Right. Aidan, can you hear me? Can I hear from you, Aidan? I can see that you've unmuted. Would you like to say something? Aidan?
Aidan, type if you can hear us.
Type or speak into your microphone. Either one. There's a little button at the bottom of the Go to Training screen which says chat. If you click on that, you'll be able to type in a little message in the chat window. Yeah.
It's a bit like an instant email.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. Now, both Andrew Fifield and Anthony already know what the next move is, but Aidan, you were not on when we went through this earlier. So I'd like you to give me have a shot at guessing what Black's next move would be here. Andrew's offline.
No.
I wonder what happened.
He's offline.
He's offline.
Yeah, it says he's offline.
It does say that.
Whatever that means. Well, maybe we should just continue us three.
Okay, continue on. Let's continue on.
A nice private session.
All right. So the rook deflects. The rook deflects and wins a piece and wins the game. Right? And the game is not really worth looking at. I don't think there's any moves beyond that one anyway. But I was very fortunate to have Carl Gorka with me today, and he loaned me a database which has a whole lot of little quick tactical puzzles in it. So the stuff that I've got today all comes from that particular database. Now let me just see if I can get to the next position in it. And this is the bit that I'm going to have trouble with, is firing up one position to the next.
I think what also you'll find is training us is very different from training the other kids.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Let's not
it's
get
a whole new level.
Overconfident. Let's not get overconfident.
I didn't say I was getting overconfident. I just said we're a lot harder to teach the other guys because we're a lot more advanced.
Yes, yes. Well, we can definitely say that about Andrew, can't we? I'm just joking, Anthony, just joking. Yes.
I didn't say anything.
No, 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 you didn't.
Andrew already knows what the result was when I played him.
Did you beat him, did you?
Yeah, I think it was twice.
Why am I not finding
In a
the
row.
right thing? Okay.
I'm sure you remember that, Andrew, don't you?
This is not the one I wanted.
Yeah, but they were fairly short games, I think. In 15
Yes,
minutes.
it doesn't matter. He's still lost.
Yeah, I guess. I like 90-minute games and stuff.
So do I.
Excuse me a moment, my phone's ringing.
I can hear it.
Hello?
So, Andrew, while we're waiting, D4, your move.
I hate junk calls. I hate junk calls. All
Some
right.
Indian telemarketer?
Probably. I hung up on him.
Knight F6.
Okay, let's stop because Frank's back.
I am back, and in this position it is again black to move and win. And there are some tactics
Well, you'll
here
just have to
that
wait for it
suggest
to come up on
themselves.
our screen.
Okay, I'll just show you my screen. Can you see it now?
Not yet. You should have another... I've been at the place while it's been on. You should have another little box showing what is on our screen. Yeah, now it's on our screen.
Okay.
So, whose move?
Black to move, and black to win. And don't yell out your answers, all right? If you think you know...
I won't yell out my answer, but can I type my answer into you?
You may type in your
Can I type my
answer
answer
to
into
me. You may indeed. If you think you have the key move, type it to me.
Yes, I do, but hold on a moment and I'll just type it to you.
All right. When you're sending it, don't click all entire audience. Use a little button there to send it to the presenter.
You got my answer?
Yep, I have. I have.
And you happy with it?
I am very happy with that. That's a very good answer.
Thank you.
What's your follow-up? Andrew Fifield,
that's very
black
easy.
to move.
That's very easy because I win the game if he doesn't take me anyway. See, in other words, if you really want to know what my next move would be, it would be this one. Hold on a moment, I just type it in. Just looking for the... Oh, I'll just do the asterisk sign. There we go.
Yes, you have the idea. You have the idea. See, I wasn't sure how to categorize this particular puzzle for the benefit of Andrew and Aidan, if he's listening to this. I'm not quite sure how to categorize
You could say that
this.
it's removing the defender.
Yes,
removing the defender.
I guess that'd be one way of doing it. The point is, it's really more of a combination than a specific tactic. It's really a sequence of two tactics, as you'll see, because
Didn't take me long.
No, yeah, but you haven't actually seen all the possibilities, because there is another defence that White has got, other than the obvious. Now, what we're going to look at after we agree. Okay, Andrew Firefield's got it too as well. So.
And Aidan's typed into us now. He doesn't have a microphone.
No microphone, Aidan. Do you want to have a go at what do you think might be the key move here, Aidan, if you can hear this? I can't seem to keep my chat window and my attendees list window open, which is annoying.
See, if you're going to give me another defense move, I can't really see any other defense because he's going to lose pieces otherwise. He's going to lose material
well, he's got
badly.
He's got two potential defences, all right? But let's see if Aidan's got the key move first before we go into it. Knight e2 is the idea, Aidan. It doesn't work at the moment because obviously the white queen can take it. But you can exploit that idea.
You're close, Aidan. You're very close.
Very close. You can exploit that idea by doing something about the queen, the white queen. Maybe you can distract that white queen.
Can I just type into you what I think his defense move is?
Yeah, sure.
Is that his defense move?
That is one defense move, yes.
There you go. So there's the other defense move. So there's your two options.
No, there's a third option.
Oh, there's a third option?
There is a third option.
So what? Maybe this one?
Yeah, well, that one's pretty clearly inferior. That's not including that one. That's a very inferior option.
Yeah, I know. The other one, I guess... Well, the others all lose your king or your queen. Because the other, there's another inferior option here, which is this one. This is another inferior one.
Yeah, that's a terrible inferior one.
And
what about simply,
and another inferior
what about
one.
F3? What about simply F3? Is that totally inferior? It does have its flaws.
No, it's not totally inferior.
It does have its flaws, but we haven't actually given Aidan the key move yet. Aidan, have you got the key move yet? Well, we're going to show
He's thinking. He's actually typed that.
Yes, I can see that. I can see that. Aidan, we'll give you a hint, mate. Your knight e2 would be checkmate if the white queen were not defending it. So can you distract the white queen?
That's a bit of a giveaway.
Well, it is a bit of a giveaway, but this is the right way to think about it. I'm not quite sure what Aidan's level of chess is, so I don't mind giving away things. We'll soon see what his level of chess is. Can you find a way of distracting the white queen from defending e2? Maybe you can take something else that the white queen is protecting. Rook h5 would be one distraction, but without your rook...
That does distract the queen.
Without your rook, knight e2 will no be mate. So you can't actually afford to give away that rook. Kind of essential to the checkmate.
But you can give away it. You can. Can I give a clue?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
You can afford to give away a bigger piece.
Indeed you can. Who needs queens?
Who needs queens when you got knights and rooks?
You know, in my thousands and thousands of tournament games that I've played over the years, in only about 3 or maybe 4 serious tournament games have I ever been able to come up with a genuine queen sacrifice. Unfortunately, one of them I actually lost. They didn't all work.
I came up with a queen
sacrifice. Queen takes g5. Well done,
Aidan.
Aidan. Queen takes g5 is the move. Now,
well done.
Let's see if I can move it. Okay, so here is the defense I was talking about. Pawn f3. Now what's the next move? Queen takes queen obviously fails because then knight e2 is checkmate. So pawn f3, and now the white king has got an escape square. And we can see all kinds of little arrows coming up. Some of those arrows are going to be distractions. Don't necessarily follow what the arrows are saying. See if you can pick the next move here by black. This is actually the line that was played in the game. Queen f3 would have lost a slightly different way. I think the answer to queen f3, by the way, if you're visualizing this, Anthony, is that the black queen can just play take on g2.
Yes, I know. I have visualized that one.
Right, and then when the white queen
and I did
takes,
see it. That's why I said it was. That's why I said here's another inferior one.
Yep.
I still can't seem to escape knight e2. It still looks really good.
Knight e2, or the king moves out a check and defends the bishop.
Yes, I know. That's the problem.
That's the problem. There's a better move. There is a better move. Alright, what's the point of moving the knight anyway? When you're moving your knight to e2, exactly. What are you achieving, Anthony? What are you achieving?
Well, the idea behind it is to capture the bishop.
Right. Well, is there another square where your knight can go to?
Well, yes, there is. Well, knight h3.
Knight h3, that's what happened. Knight h3 is a killer move.
Knight h3 check.
Knight h3 is a killer move because it attacks the bishop with the queen. It opens up a line. He's not really interested in swapping queens here. The black queen and other pieces are all trying to get a checkmate here. White has little choice. He has to take this knight. If he just moves his king, he's just dropping everything. So White takes it
He
with
has
his
to take it with the pawn because otherwise he loses his
otherwise
queen.
he's dropping his queen.
And queen takes bishop check.
Queen takes bishop check. Well, that's a no-brainer. There are different ways in which White can try and defend this, though. He can either block with his rook, or he can start running away. If he runs away, he's obviously also dropping his knight on D2, sorry, getting my squares.
And then he gives away the game
there.
because he's down on material.
And then he would be one bishop
So I would
and
assume rook.
a bad position down. So the rook went to F2.
So rook F2.
Rook F2. This was played. Okay, rotten
I
computer.
was about to say on this
coming
one.
up with a real good suggestion for you there. Follow the arrows. What are we doing next,
Well,
guys?
I was going to play that anyway. I was going to play bishop C5.
Bishop C5. Okay.
Bishop C5 looks awesome.
Everyone else agree? Anyone disagree?
And
no one disagrees? All right.
I certainly don't disagree.
No, that's all right, Anthony, but let's try and give everybody else a chance to answer as well, okay? All right, that's a good move. Bishop G5, C5, sorry. And White has to defend the rook, and he can choose to defend it either with the rook, moving his second rook to F1, in which case the black
and either
queen
way, the
would
queen
actually,
takes the knight.
the queen would take the knight because the rook would be pinned, or he can defend it by playing queen to here, which puts in a counterattack on this pawn. So now if the black queen takes the knight, the white queen would take the pawn first, check, and maybe even chop off that bishop on c5. So how do we continue now?
So queen takes rook check. Queen takes rook check.
Queen takes rook check. What about you, Aidan, or
Well, queen.
Andrew?
Well, we win the exchange and a pawn.
Queen takes rook check, queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, king takes queen. You'd be an exchange and a pawn up. Would you? 3, 6, 7? Two, actually, not.
That's
a
pretty
pawn
good
up.
to me.
Oh, you win the pawn on h3 at the end. Michael.
Yeah,
Michael,
you would be. Looks pretty good to me.
Let me just type in a
Michael,
message.
you're a bit late.
I'll just type in a hi Michael message. Alright, attendee list. Okay. So, in this position,
I'm willing for you to show me a better move, but
here's the better move.
okay.
All right. Once again,
Because I know my move wins anyway, but
your move won the ending, and this one only wins the ending as well. So I'm not saying it's a heck of a lot better than yours, but it is certainly a very, very strong move. And it's the deflection theme all over again for those that are watching. The black rook takes the pawn to deflect the queen's protection on the f2 square. Of course, if the queen just goes to
now
a
queen takes
random
e5.
square, if the queen goes to a random square, the black queen taking on f2 would end the game. So the queen has to take on e5 to provide a little check. Yeah, see, black went into this attack without casting.
As Robert would say, a friendly check.
Silly boy. Friendly check. Friendly check. All right, the black king runs away from the check. He could have run away to either way, but he decides to run off to f8. Any defense here for white? He's being threatened with mate in
Yes.
1. What's the defense?
Well, he has to defend with his rook.
He can defend his rook on f2 with his other rook. Is there any other defense? Can anyone else see anything else?
Yes, king up to g2.
Yeah, the arrow's kind of...
Because when he takes your rook, you take his.
Exactly. A counter-attack.
Well, I'm not bothering with the arrows.
Well, the arrows are there anyway. I'm not quite sure how to turn them off. Let's have a look at the main line. The rooks are defending each other. Michael, are you actually hearing this or seeing this? If you are hearing it and seeing it and not able to speak to me, could you at least type in a message to show that you're participating? And I hope you're still there, Andrew Fifield. The voices that you're hearing, by the way, I'm Frank Meerbach.
And I'm Anthony Hayne.
Anthony Hayne is our guest coach for the night. Yeah, strong player. Okay, Michael. And I can hear you too, Michael. That was nice to hear your voice. Is your brother there as well, or are you just there on your own? Wow.
I'll go get him.
No, your brother doesn't.
That?
That was a whole lot of static. Michael, you don't need to get your brother. I was just being polite and asking. If your brother wants to be there, and then I'm sure he'll be there. If he doesn't want to be there, then let him do what he wants to do. In any case, this position is still not yet over. All right, there are too many pieces on the board for both sides to declare this is an absolute win for black right now. So how should black continue? Again, thinking tactically. And this time, if you play queen takes f2, you lose.
Of course.
So
Because he takes your bishop check.
No, if you play queen takes f2 check, he'll take back with his rook, and you will not have enough material. Right? You do not have enough material taking the rook on f2. So there has to be something else that black can do here.
I'd try attacking the queen.
Right. Anyone else got any suggestions other than that? I want to get on to the next example quickly. So if I don't get another...
I still think my original idea of being an exchange and a pawn up was good.
Your original idea works as well as this. I'll grant you that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get the move. It is in fact attacking the queen. And the idea is, after the queen vacates this diagonal, is guarding yet another square around the enemy king so that we can start doing some checks with the rook. It's also forcing the white queen away from the defense of the g3 square. So tactically it's a very, very simple move. White here... Yes?
Hey.
Go ahead and make a comment.
Instead of moving that bishop there, why don't you put your queen on, I think it's just G6?
The black queen can't get to G6. G5?
Sorry, H6.
H6. Right, queen to H6
yes.
threatening. Queen to H6 threatening rook, mate. That's a very, very strong idea. Yeah.
But it loses to queen takes bishop check, followed by the rook coming in for the defense.
Exactly right.
After that,
if the black queen goes...
you can checkmate by going H7, H6, sorry, G6.
Yeah, you could. But the problem is, you actually allow white time to defend himself. The first move that white would play after you played queen to H6 would be the white queen would take the bishop on C5 and check the black king, and while you're getting out of check, white will then use his rooks to defend his king. He'll probably move a rook to G2 and run away with his king via F2. Before that,
you do B2 before. You do B2 with your pawn to protect your bishop before that.
B7 to B6. Okay, yeah, well that might work. B7 to B6 is a candidate move. I think his solution is slightly more elegant. I think his solution is to protect his bishop, and now he has the option of moving his queen to H6 on the next move. He also has the option of introducing a rook check on G3 if the white queen doesn't stay on this diagonal. But how can the white queen stay on this diagonal? If he stays on that diagonal, the bishop will take it. So the white queen has to go off the diagonal, doesn't he? Right, now, are there any more moves here? No, in fact, the game ended at this point, I think. Yes. Oops, no he didn't. He made one more move. What? No, that's me. That's sometimes happens when I click on the board, it'll do this crazy move. Obviously, if you put your queen there, white will just take it with his rook. Sorry about that. So the tactics there were not quite that obvious, and they involved a deflection and a fork and a discovered attack. And all of these themes, I'm sure your coaches have taught you. The problem is to spot when the combination, when the right tactic is to be used. There's no shortcut to practice, practice, practice. But if you are thinking about at least which pieces are not properly defended because the defending piece is pinned, or which pieces can be forked, then you'll find them a lot easier. Let's try another one. Just see if this go. Oops, there's a problem escaping from that. Okay, this is not the one we want. So, all right. Okay, I showed you the answer to that one. This is rather trivial, this one, in fact, and this is not one I wanted to show you. I've got to see if I can get back onto my database properly. Yes, Anthony is saying he can hear me, but he's lost his microphone. Now, I didn't click any mute all button or anything like that, Anthony, so it's not my fault. I'm not quite sure what's gone on. We're also having a problem with some people not being able to see the screen right now. I did get a comment from Aidan, what about black pawn to f6? Black pawn to f6 would also have been a reasonably strong move in that previous position, attacking the white queen, and because the queen couldn't take the bishop at that stage with the black queen still defending it, that would have made life a little bit tricky for white to defend. So that also would have been a good try. Hopefully you'll now see a position on my...
Hello?
Yeah, is that you again, Anthony?
I'm back.
It's back. Oh.
Sorry about that, I'm back.
Do you have got any idea what happened to your microphone?
Well,
No?
I'm using a USB headset. It might just have had a problem. It's a good thing my dad's taught me to be good with computers.
Yeah.
I'm back.
All right.
Right, so what did I miss? Not much.
Not a heck of a lot, not a heck of a lot. I tried to set up this position and I think I inadvertently showed the whole solution to this position.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen what you showed, but I already like queen takes. I already like queen takes f7 check. As if the rook takes, he loses to a forced mate.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't, he still loses.
Absolutely. This is almost in the trivial category, but it does show a little pitfall that sometimes does occur, because there are a few people here who would prefer to play rook takes on f7, because that also threatens the mate, which is pretty hard to stop. But in fact, there is a defense against rook takes on f7, and this is what I want you guys to find out for me. If white makes the mistake of playing rook takes f7 instead of queen takes f7, which is the correct move, Anthony, well done. If he plays rook takes f7, how does black save the game? Indeed, how does black win the game? And I wish I could just get all of these lists open at the same time.
Well, it comes back down to what my dad said when I was really, really young. It's better to have checked and lost than to have never have checked at all. So it can't hurt to give a check.
No, it certainly can't. Which square are you going to check on with the black queen or the black rook?
Well, I was thinking, well, either the rook to c1 or the queen to b1.
All right. Is there any other option?
Or the queen to a1.
Is there any other option?
Queen c1.
Thank you, Andrew. Which one of those four moves is best? Assuming the
Well,
white
queen c1 swaps queens.
swaps queens, okay.
Then wins the rook.
And it actually does end up saving the game. Once the white queen is off, there is no mate threat anymore. So let's see if I can get this going. I'm going to have
You get the free rook.
going to have to go into this ending. All right. So if rook takes f7, queen to c1, the king moves out a check because taking the queen is obviously useless. Then the black queen takes first, and it really doesn't matter for white which rook he takes with. Black just swaps another pair of rooks and just goes for the win with his pawns.
Can you go back a moment for like go back to when queen c1? So what's wrong with queen? What's the real difference between queen taking c1 after queen c1?
Well, if queen takes c1.
Oh, it's just still check.
The rook will
so
take
yeah.
c1 check, and then black wins the whole rook, so he'll be even better off, won't he?
Yeah.
So queen takes
yeah,
queen,
that's
rook
fine.
takes queen, king moves up, rook takes rook, and black's got 2 rooks for 1. Yes? So at least in this ending where black swaps here, it's a rook each. It's just that black's got 2 extra pawns, and they're all connected passed pawns, so black should win this ending comfortably. Okay. But after queen takes f7 instead of rook takes f7, white can't avoid checkmate. Sorry, black can't avoid checkmate. All right. I'm going to see if I can get onto my
That's
database.
why if I see a forced checkmate, I do it.
That one was a little too easy. That was not actually the one I wanted to show you next. My problem is I'm having trouble getting to my database. I'm not quite sure. So I had all these positions all lined up. They're all written down beside me. And now I just can't get to them. So how do we do this? Game ending. The last time I did it, I just had to click on escape. But when I escaped too far, so I need to get back to chess-based light. Here we go. This is the list. So we've looked at number 46, which is that first one, the one that we started with. We didn't actually look at this little endgame, but this endgame is a little bit of a nice one too. Let's try this one out. This is a fairly simple one. Oopsie daisy, training quick before they read it. White's threatening mate in 1. Black to move and win. What's the winning move? Again, I'm not 100% sure how to categorize this one. Deflection is probably the best term. Send me a chat message if you think you have the right answer. Right, and I hope you're all still listening.
I got it.
You got it. Who's that? Anthony?
Yep.
Or someone else. You can use the little arrows there as clues if you wish. Some of them might be misleading. Andrew Firefield's second answer is correct. When I say second answer, his first answer there is to something quite different, I think. You wrote queen c1, and there's no queens in this one, so it must have been to a previous puzzle. Yeah, Andrew, you've got it. Anyone else? Yeah, absolutely correct.
I meant D2 with that.
Yeah, so I understand what you meant, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So 2 people have got it. So we're still waiting on Michael and Aidan. If you guys are there, have you got any idea how to win this position for black? It's a tough position. Notice that black does have an extra bishop, which is not going to help him much if he loses one of his rooks. It's not going to help him at all if he loses one of his rooks. And he is being threatened with mate, so it's not that easy.
But it will help him if he swaps them.
And like I said, if he loses a rook, it won't help him. If he doesn't lose a rook, he'll be okay.
I think I know what he has to do.
What would you like to do, Michael?
He moves his right rook up 1.
To G2. Yep. To pin the white rook so that the white rook can no longer checkmate the black king. You're absolutely right. Well done. Well spotted. So Aidan, if you weren't following that, here's what we're talking about. If I can just get it to go. Here's the move. Rook to G2. and white really has little choice. He has to take,
And then
because otherwise he's losing everything. And now the black rook takes the white rook, and this ending is an easy win because black has an extra piece. White can still try a little trick. He can try this little trick of moving rook to e2. Is that in my analysis? But black can now very easily simplify into a one ending. What's the easiest simplification here? What's the easiest way to... Shush.
Rook a2 check.
Yeah, but you weren't really meant to talk about that, Anthony, until everyone had a chance to see it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so we've been given the answer. Rook a2 check now swaps the rooks off, and the bishop and pawn ending is an easy win. The white pawn on a4 can't get past the black bishop. Black only needs to activate his king to support his pawns, and it's an easy win, as I hope all of you would know how to do. All right, now let's see if I can get back to my little database this time and get the next position. Here we go. So that was 46, 49. We've had a quick look at Unzuka and Denker. Denkert, that's this one. This was a neat one. Whoopsie daisy, training. Must click on training. Okay. In this position, again, black to move and win. Interesting. And here the themes involve fork and another little deflection. And white is threatening to swap knights, which would actually save white's position and give white the better position. So black has to do something rather drastically to avoid the swap of knights. That's a very good knight that black has. He doesn't want to give it up yet. Could you just type in your best move to me? We're testing your tactics. Whoopsie daisy.
Look at a few different things.
Whoopsie daisy, I almost gave it away again. If you're observing the screen, you might think about what you almost saw. Not quite, Michael. That's a good try, though. Michael asked me to move the queen one up, so that's queen. If you move your queen to attack the rook, the problem is that one of the pawns will get your queen. So the rook here is defended by a pawn, and this square g4 is defended by this pawn. So moving your queen to attack the rook is not quite the way to do it, Michael. Right, I haven't actually seen, oops, I'm not reading my chat. Not reading my chat. Here we go. Queen goes one up, then he gets a rook. No, not true. No one's actually typed in the correct answer yet. First move.
I'm still thinking.
Aidan says attack the rook somehow. Yes. Well, I'll give you a hint. The move that he plays does attack the rook somehow. And Michael says I've got an old computer, and he's absolutely right. I do have an old computer, and I apologise for it. When you send me $1,000 for all the good training that I'm giving you, I'll buy a new computer. How about that? And mind you, I don't think I'm really worth. Mind you, I don't really think my coaching is worth $1,000, but then again, who am I to argue with people who've got money? It is an old computer. It is black's move for Andrew Fifield. It is black's move, and black here has a move that will win the game in just a couple of moves. The first move doesn't win the game, it's the follow-up that wins. Yeah. Now this is a true puzzlist's position. To give you a really genuine hint, if you're looking at this as a chess puzzle rather than a position from a real game, it is actually a position from a real game. Unzuka was one of the best players from Austria or Germany. He's a German player, I think, Unziger. He played in a few German Olympiad teams back in the 70s. So he was a very, very strong player. And I've seen the name Dankert too.
What was his rating?
Unziger, oh, he's a Grandmaster, so he would have been 2500, 2600, thereabouts. Wolfgang, I think his first name was. Could be wrong. Probably someone like Ian Rogers has probably come across him and played him a few times over in Europe. So you can ask Ian about it next time you see him. Okay, time's nearly up. I've got to give you a better hint. Look for a queen sack.
That's what I'm looking at.
Where are you going to sack your queen? To attack the white rook? And
I got it!
you
I finally got it!
Don't yell out the answer.
I
Just
won't,
type
I
it
won't,
in
I
there.
won't! I won't, I won't!
Aidan,
I was looking at him.
Aidan has typed in an answer, and you're on the right track, Aidan, but that's not the first move. Your move is not the first move. You've got to find a different move. Anthony has sent me now the correct first move.
Yeah!
So Anthony, you do have it. Well done. Anyone else? Yes, you're correct as well, Michael. I think you need to position a board beside yourself so that you can have the labels beside your board.
I can
You've
put
got to
out the
learn.
rest of the moves for you if you want.
No, you don't have to do that. We'll be there in a minute or two. We're nearly there. I'm just waiting to
It's a
see
very
if
nice
Andrew,
sequence of moves.
I'm just waiting if Andrew Fifield is still with us. Because normally he gets in fairly quickly. Maybe he's gone to
I like
sleep.
this position. That's good.
Maybe he's gone to sleep watching the telly or something. It is nice, isn't it? It's a very neat move. It's a very neat sequence. No, Andrew, wrong.
Isn't it?
Wrong. Your answer is wrong.
He got it.
Aidan, no. Although I like your answer, Aidan, but that's not the right move, unfortunately. It's probably a reasonably good move, though. But it's not as much of a killer move as the one that was actually played by Black. So Aidan, that's a good attempt. All right.
When he said look for a queen sack, that was actually an excellent clue.
An excellent clue. All right. Tell us what queen sack you made, Anthony. You can tell everybody now.
Queen G3 check.
And that's what he did. Queen G3 check. Let's see if I can make it do that. Queen G3 check. You idiots! You gave your queen away. What'd you do that for?
No. Well, you can take my queen. I'll just checkmate you in 2 moves after that.
All right. Well, checkmate him. All right. Let's have a look at this.
So if he takes my queen.
In fact, the king went straight into the corner. If he takes your queen, see if you guys can follow it. The pawn will take.
Then pawn takes
check.
rook check.
Pawn takes rook check.
King
the
goes
king
down.
has to go in the corner, and then your knight
knight
comes
C2
through.
checkmate.
Oh, it's F2 actually, but
Sorry, it's F2 checkmate.
Yep, absolutely right. So the king, you can't even afford to take the queen. It's not really a queen sacrifice after all. The queen is there as a distraction. And now,
knight there goes there anyway, maybe?
No, not going to F2
Why not?
would win the exchange. The rook would take the knight.
Mm.
Okay, but queen takes rook.
Both good moves.
Queen takes rook is actually a slightly better way to end the game. The white pawn takes the black queen, and now black simply gets his queen back with a knight fork. With a knight fork, and the ending is a fairly easy win, being a rook up. He has to be a little bit careful that these two connected pawns on the B and C files don't actually get through and create a brand new queen, but it should be easy enough to stop with an extra rook there. Okay. How are we going? Well, we've still got time. We've got another quarter hour yet, so let's see if I can get the next one up. And that was Unziger and Dankert. The next one I'm looking for is Tolish and Floor. Okay, and click on training so you don't read the answers. Okay, in this position, another black to move. What is this? Oh, black winning everything. Salo Floor, by the way, is another very important grandmaster from the early part of the 1900s. He played against the likes of Nimzovich and Alekhine and all the other top grandmasters, even against Botvinnik, and he was genuinely a very, very strong player. Salo Floor, and he wins this game. And you can see that Floor actually has a nice simple tactic that attacks both of White's rooks. He could move his queen down to c3 and attack both of White's rooks. But in fact, that's not Black's best move. Black has an even stronger move than queen to c3. Now this is a tough one. This may actually be the toughest one that you've had so far, so give it plenty of thought. I'll give you a hint in a moment or two. Send me your answers if you've got your... Okay.
I'm not going to send you my answer. I am going to send you what I am thinking.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's right yet.
Andrew has sent me an answer, and it's not quite right, Andrew, or you're on the right track, but you're not the right answer. You sent it to me 3 times, so I'm just reading it now. And Michael has sent me an answer, and I'm trying to work out what Michael's answer means. Rook 3 left. Rook 3 left. I presume Michael's answer is something like the rook here to g8. This rook to g8. And that would be a reasonable sort of move. Knight takes queen would probably defeat it though. Okay, so Andrew Firefield's next answer is not correct. Sorry, Andrew. I'd like you to explain, Andrew Firefield, if you can get online, could you explain what your thinking is with your suggestion of rook to g7? There might be something in this. It's definitely not the move that was played in the game, but there might be something in rook to g7. Can you
The whole idea is a discovered check.
Discovered check, yeah.
Discovered check with a knight move. But when you do the discovered check, seeing as the knight can't actually give a double check, won't the white knight just take the queen and get out of check that way?
No, that's cheating.
That's cheating. No, that's good chess. Good chess, Andrew. So I don't think I can't see how rook g7 actually helps that particular theme. You are clearing the diagonal for your queen, but your queen is not on a safe square right now. Okay. I'll give you guys a hint. It is not a queen move. So one of the lines that needs to be calculated is the white knight taking the black queen. It's not much of a clue, I know. But there you go. I'll give you another clue in about 1 minute. I haven't seen the right answer yet. I've seen another answer by Andrew. It's still wrong, Andrew. Michael, yes. The answer to your question is yes. Now, just give me the correct move, Michael, because you had a general question. You didn't actually give me I want to know what upright means, Michael. If you mean knight to e7, wrong. If you mean knight to f6, wrong. If you mean knight to c7, wrong. If you mean knight to b6, wrong. None of those work. Knight f6 is wrong. Knight f6 attacking the white queen, it's not the best move. Might not be the worst move. It may have some merit because it attacks the white queen, but it is not the best move.
I'm sure anyone can come up with the worst move.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of worse moves. You could put your rook on h2, for example. That would be a really terrible move.
Hmm.
Good. Okay.
You could say there's an even worse move.
Aidan has given the best answer to date. It was not the exact move that was played, but I'll tell you what, that could work out just as well as the move that was actually played. It doesn't quite work out just as well. There is a slight improvement on Aiden's move. I'll let everybody know what Aiden's move. I'll let everybody know what Aiden's move is in a moment.
I can't escape playing a certain move. I'm still staring at this one.
Right. I'll give you a hint, because Aiden was nearly there.
I want to move that knight that you've got your head on.
The knight that my hand is circling, and that's the one that moves. And it doesn't
I've only
move.
been looking at that for 10 minutes.
All right, find a square where it can actually do some good. All right, Aiden's suggestion was knight f4. That's not quite right. You'll see why knight f4 is not quite right, but it's very close. Knight f4 is very close. 2 down, 1 left. Is left towards c3? No, not knight c3, Michael. Andrew Fifield has spelt it out correctly at last. We're there. And Anthony Hayne has got it. Okay, let's do it. Whoops, not this one. Sorry. Escape. That was me clicking on the board then. Here is the move. Knight e3, as Anthony and Andrew got. And this move, the purpose to the move is simply to protect the rook. Okay. Clearly, there's a mate being threatened now with the discovery of the rook. Any rook move here discovers a check by the queen. So why doesn't the white just take the queen? Well, he does. How does black
Because now the knight goes to f3.
Correct.
Knight f3.
Correct. Knight f3 and rook to h2 can no longer be stopped. Yeah. Once the rook gets to h2, it's mate. It doesn't matter if this knight's still there or not, so the bishop takes the knight. And now you can see, Aiden, why your suggestion knight f4 wasn't quite right. It got very, very close. If you had your knight on f4 at this point, the bishop would take the knight and that would defend the h2 square. Michael, okay, I believe you that you got confused. So you had the right answer as well, Michael. Okay. I accept that,
Michael, just use the notation.
Yeah, the problem is this board hasn't got letters and numbers. So, Michael, you might want to get a chessboard that's got letters and numbers sitting beside it so you can read it off the chessboard. Either that or start learning where all the squares are, which is not a bad idea. Okay, I might skip the next example, which is a bit silly anyway. What was the best of the ones? I think number 73 was the best of them.
Do you want me to give you my puzzle? I'm sure you remember it.
No, I don't actually. Because even though it's a beauty, I think we can show that at some other time.
Do you remember it?
Yes, I do. It was all the white pieces were set up more or less in the original starting position, except
pretty much
king's pieces, and there's a mate in 3 or something like that. It was very neat.
2.
Mate in 2, was it? Okay, it was very, very neat. I did enjoy the puzzle, but that was a genuine chess puzzle as opposed to an exercise in tactics. All right? And this is more of an exercise in tactics, and what we're trying here is to work out how finally white gets a chance to win a game. There's possibly more than one way for white to win this position. Perhaps even pawn takes knight might be a winning position, although I don't like the idea that black has the option of queening his pawn on d2 and then chopping off the white rook, or maybe even doing it the other way around, chopping off the white rook and then queening the pawn on d2. So there's maybe more than one way of winning, but in fact there is a way of white to set up a checkmate threat that's so hard to stop that white wins. So look for checkmates here. This is my big clue. Aiden has given me an answer, and not quite right, Aiden, but the move that you've got, Aiden, it is part of the solution. It's just not the first move. It is part of the solution. All right. Michael has sent me an answer. and that is a good move, Michael. It's not the answer that I've got though, and I'm not quite sure why it doesn't work. It does look like a good move though. Does look like a good move, Michael. Andrew has given me the same answer that Michael did, and same answer to Andrew. I don't think it's the right move, but I'm not quite sure why it isn't the right move. It does look good, I have to admit. So the answer that Michael and Andrew...
hang on, I'm sending you a move now.
Are you? Yeah, well, Michael, yes, you've already sort of told me that move, haven't you? No, that was somebody else.
Hang on, I'm about to send you a move.
So, Anthony, you're just the same as everyone else. Everyone's suggesting Queen H3. Some people have even suggested Knight G5. Knight G5 is part of the eventual solution. Queen H3 is not the right move. I'm not 100% sure why it isn't the right move. I suspect that it may have something to do with Queen takes Rook, which defends the G5 square, so there'll be no Knight G5 effective check. So Queen H3 is not the way to get it done.
Does this one work?
Knight G5 is part of the solution, but you need to do something else first. Now let's have a look. What's Anthony typed to me? Oh, I've got a correct answer from someone. Hayden, you got the right answer. Well done, mate. Hayden got the right answer. Anthony Hain, no. We just finished explaining, Anthony, that Knight G5 is part of the solution, but not the first move. And Andrew, it is not Rook G5. Anthony, Aidan has got the right answer. Well done, Aidan. All right. Again, there's a queen sacrifice involved.
Whose game was this?
This game was played between Parr and Wheatcroft. Now, this is in 1938, so it's not our Peter Parr or David Parr, who are both Australian players. So this Parr would have been an Englishman. He may well have been related to Peter and David Parr.
Involves a queen sacrifice.
It is it's sort of a passive queen sacrifice. The first move just leaves the white queen unprotected. But he can't really take it because he gets mated if he takes it. So Aidan can't hear me anymore. Oops. I wonder if that's me clicking on the wrong audio button. No, it's not me. So,
got my answer there?
Yeah, I've got your answer there and you're correct. That is the right answer. You're the second to give me that. You're the second. And Andrew Firefield has also given me the correct answer. Well done, Andrew.
He takes, that's mate.
Okay.
He takes the queen.
All right, let's look at this answer now. It is in fact Rook H5, as three of you have already given me. The whole idea is to get this attack with the knights. So let's have a look at the main line. If the black queen takes the white queen, the next move is pretty obvious, knight to G5 check. And the king moves into the corner. Don't yell out the answer. What should we do next? What should we do next? Don't yell it out. Anthony's got it.
Bishop takes.
No, because then the queen would take back. And he would actually escape being checkmated, and black would win with all that extra material.
What are you doing?
You're doing a hash mark here. This move, in fact,
it all means checkmate.
This move, in fact, is checkmate. Rook takes pawn is checkmate because the bishop is pinned. When you've got a pin like this against the king, you should seek to exploit it. This is one of those tactical rules that will help you in your games. Okay, bishop taking bishop would have spoilt the pin. It would have been a good way to lose very, very quickly. But this checkmate, of course, wins the game. You needed to see this checkmate,
Frank,
before he played Rook H5. Yes.
My dad's looking at the screen and he's wondering what happened if Queen doesn't take.
Okay. Give me an alternative move.
Well, my dad... Oh, hang on. What's your alternative move? Pawn takes.
Because
His alternative move is pawn takes rook,
pawn takes rook.
and I've already tried to tell him that queen f5 looks pretty darn good.
Queen f5 is mate, isn't it? Queen f5 is mate in 1.
That's what.
That
Yeah,
right?
he's seen it now.
Yep, okay. So you've answered that question for yourself. Pawn takes on
Well, that's for
h5, queen f5 is mate. All right. I'm not even sure if...
You came in at the same time we had for this puzzle.
All right. I'd like to leave you guys with a really, really difficult one, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find a really, really difficult one, but I will show you one more. And maybe next time we get together you can tell me the answer to this. I'll just leave it with you. And this would be 66, and I don't really think it's...
You could also leave the other guys with my one.
Alright, this one...
As a pure puzzle.
About that, will you?
This one, it is black to move and win. See if you can find the most effective way for black to win this position. We're not going to talk about it now because I'm about to end the session. But if you guys want to take a note of this position, I'll leave this position up as I'm
Hang on, I'm just going to do a print screen.
Print screen, there's probably a good idea.
There we go, I've got a print screen.
Alright, and you've got...
Print screen and then control paste onto a Word document.
Isn't that a clever thing for you to do? Well done. I wish I could do these things as quickly as you guys could. Okay, you've got plenty of little arrows there. You've got some green arrows and some orange arrows, and they are clues, those arrows. Black to move and win. Notice that black is slightly down in material. He only has a knight for white's
working all
extra
these
rook.
crazy little tricks on the computer.
Yeah. Notice also that black's knight itself is pinned. If the black knight should move, the white queen may take the black queen. So be careful if you're moving your knight. Make sure that you have everything else covered. All right. Does anyone wish to make any comments? And you think you've got it? Send me an answer.
No, I know I've got it.
You know you've got it.
Okay, fine.
All right.
I know I've got it.
Okay, send me an answer.
I'm sending you my answer now. And I've also got the follow-up moves regardless, so there we go. There we go.
All of it. Okay, 2 people have sent me the right answer, in fact. 2 people have sent me the right answer. 3 people, Aiden,
2 different defenses.
You're a genius, Aiden. And there is more than one defense, yes. The white queen can't take the black queen.
And they both lead to mate.
Because they, well, no, not all the moves. One of the defenses actually leads to an end game where black just has more material. One of the defenses makes the game last for a fair while. Yeah? So you have to look at it a little bit deeper than that, okay? But you did get the key move, and you've got a winning position. This does not end in checkmate. This particular ending does not end in a checkmate.
Well, has everyone here got it?
No, not everybody. Haven't seen an answer.
Okay, well, in terms of my move, what after this one, after that one, there's the same move as before. There's the same checkmate threat.
It's not pawn takes and it's not queen takes. It's in fact rook f3 is the answer. That is the move that gives you the biggest amount of difficulty. The rook from f1.
Rook?
The rook from f1 to f3 gives you the greatest amount of difficulty. Right. But it is an easy win. I'll agree with that.
Well, it shouldn't give you too much difficulty because you capture the queen.
Yeah, you'd think that wouldn't give you too much difficulty. You've still got an advanced pawn there that could become a queen in itself if the black rook ever gets off the f-file. It's not quite trivial.
I can't see that happening.
Not quite trivial. Well, I
can't see that happening because the rooks will trade off, and then you after that happens, you get the pawn for free.
I got suck it into this. So I wasn't going to show you the answer, but here let's show you the main line. Knight to h4, which several of you got. If the queen takes the queen or the pawn takes the knight, either case, the black rook would take the white rook on f1 mate. The queen would be pinned if it's still
Was I the
there,
first one to get
and
that?
if it's not there. No, Aidan, you were not the first to get it, but you did get it. Well done. Congratulations on getting
No,
it.
I didn't. No, was Michael the first one to get it? Because I typed that in even before you asked us to start figuring out the answer. That was the first answer.
I think Andrew Fifield was actually the first to send me knight to h4. Looking back at my messages, I'm just checking. Knight h4 from Andrew Fifield came in first, then knight h4 from Anthony Hayne, then knight h4 from Aidan. And they all came within a few seconds of each other, so you're all very close. That was the order in which they arrived. In this position, the black knight obviously will take the queen. The king will then take, and black probably does best to swap off this rook, which white has to take, but because this rook is now pinned...
White takes pawn.
Well, he can take the pawn, but even faster is just to advance his own pawns and capitalise on the fact that this rook is pinned and can't do anything. So it's not defending anything. So by doing this, the black pawn gets out of the square of the white king. If the white king moves, the black queen could just take the rook, and the pawn can advance and become a brand new queen and becomes unstoppable. Very, very easy ending. Right? There may be several other ways to win this ending, but when you're down to pawn ending, which is an easy win, swapping off your queen for a rook is often the right thing to do to stop all counterplay. All right, I hope you enjoyed tonight's little session. We learnt a little bit about combining themes of deflection along with pins and forks, and all of these things you'll only get really proficient at if you practice your games. The best practice, of course, is serious tournament chess. So for those of you who are young enough and not doing something else, play in the RJ Shield on Sunday, or play in the Anzac Day Open Weekender at the Melbourne Chess Club. They're both going to be really good events. Okay, so thanks for attending, everyone.
Are you able to set up any position there at the moment?
No, well, I can give you another position from the database, but I have to close up because the recording has already gone over my limits.
You can stop recording and quickly show everyone.